Welcome back to the channel. Have you ever had one of those little moments where you think you'll just do something quickly and then get on with your day? Such as, oh, I'll just print off this letter and I'll be with you. And invariably the USB cable can't be found, the wrong printer driver's there, the ubiquitous low black ink, so it doesn't end up going as you thought it would. I had that happen this weekend. Very simple project to build a Lux Meter. And bear in mind, in this video I had no idea what was to come. Well, actually I had no idea the cat was on her way over here. Hello Marmalade, you coming up? No? Here we go. Oh, there we go, there's Marmalade. No idea. Anyway, so let's go indoors and see what happened. And here's something that could really help with understandings about light levels and various solar type of projects, because very often you'll hear me and probably others say something works in really low light, and then of course because the camera never really gives a true picture of what the conditions are like, you know, it may seem brighter or darker than it really is. So I thought, well, it's about time I built some kind of light meter which would make a lot of sense for showing lumens, for showing lux, the amount of light that's actually around. So yeah, that would help with certain things like, say, the solar panel that I showed recently, the large one from Dollar Tree, or this kind of circuit here. So what I've got is, I'm going to recycle this screen from an old project. I've got an ESP8266, so it can be any microcontroller, but then I've got a BH1750, which is a light sensor itself. It's a Lux meter. I'll show more on the screen of this now. These things are small, simple to use, cheap and effective. They got good resolution down to 1 lux, and they only use a couple of wires on I2C to connect to a microcontroller. So it's looking like a good solution to the easy project. So the first thing to do is to take this screen off, clean it up a bit, and then get a piece of board, might actually reuse this one, and put the ESP8266 on there, and then also to connect up the BH1750. That's everything desoldered and removed. Next thing, I'll get some sandpaper, clean this up, and also clean up the screen. I'll keep the screen there, I think, because it's not a bad placement. There we go, cleaned up, tidied up, and there's the layout. Now what I've decided is to do it this way, because I might add extra functionality with a couple of different types of sensor there, maybe a couple of buttons to choose them, not sure. But the main functionality is going to be as a Lux meter. So next I'll wire it all up, and I'll come back when I've done so. Just to note also that I've made the sensor flat instead of being on any kind of an angle. A little piece of foam underneath glued down to make sure it stays flat.
Computer says no.
Is there nothing we can do?
Right.
Well, this is a bit bizarre, and I've just thought to record it. It's not seeing the board. So there's the right kind of thing. It's an NodeMCU with an ESP12E, and you should get the port, something in the port saying, you know, it's connected to USB, but it's not seeing it. I mean, it's right here. It's just not seeing it. I don't get it. I mean, I did plug in the original, the build, and it didn't see it, so I swapped over to this one, and it still won't see it. And I have no idea what's going on. I've just tried LS-USB as well in the terminal, and it doesn't come up on that either. I think I'll have to, I'm not sure what to do. Well, what I've decided after trying lots of things, trying to make the thing open the ports, adding myself to various lists, this kind of thing, trusted sources, what have you, I thought, well, what about if I download this, MX Linux? It seems to be quite a popular and good distribution, and the main thing is it'll go on a USB stick, so I can just live boot it and see if that sees the ports, and see if I can carry on by using that. I'd have to install the Arduino environment again, but if it sees the port, if I can connect and it sees the microcontroller, I can carry on. So I'm going to download that and put it on a USB stick. I hope it's booting from the USB stick. I've got it on this blue one, so we'll see if this loads up. Right, so I've got Wi-Fi going, and next to download the Arduino software from Arduino.cc, so I'll get that installed. It's going alright, this MX Linux, by the way. It's saying it's running from this little thing. It's quite snappy and responsive, so it's not quite the trauma that it could have been. Alright, and next thing is to add that line there to the Arduino IDE so it can see, hopefully, an ESP8266, and then we'll find out whether it can. Right, well this is good, that line works, and now I can install the ESP8266 software. This is a pain in the backside, eh? Right, so the main thing, now that we've got the computer booting, now that we've got the software going, and now that we've got the ESP stuff set up, the microcontroller, do we get a port? Well, there's the board, and down here, yes, we get a port. Well, my TTY USB 0. Right, now for some programming. So if I put my hand across, we should see that number go down, and if I release again, the number goes up. And this is apparently the accurate to 1 lux, so that's pretty awesome. The next part is to link both together, is to link those readings to the screen code, and then we can get it displayed on that screen. And this is kind of hilarious. I thought to myself, oh well, you know, I should save this and I can work on it more on the usual Linux Mint, and I thought, yeah, but I can't get the ports to recognize the microcontroller. So I think I'm doing the whole thing in this MX Linux. And because this is all becoming ridiculous and much like the old BBC TV show Little Britain with computer says no, I've put it onto a USB stick. I've saved the program out in the event of, I don't know what, something like an earthquake or power cut or whatever else, but hopefully not. And finally I've tidied the code up a little bit such that it doesn't all blank out every refresh when it does a new reading. That looks a lot better. So yeah, all set up now for solar experiments with this simple build, even though the computer itself didn't want to play ball. And the final word for all this is that I'm running Linux Mint. I did an update on the software, and now we actually have a port. It's showing up. So yeah, it is back up and running, and it is fixed. But I suppose it was some fun to try that workaround, which did actually work around the problem. Alright, well thanks very much for following along, and see you next time.